What up, though? One Pride. This is the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, the podcast where one pride goes worldwide. And welcome to the Packers at Lions post-game venting forum. Yes, the Detroit Lions have just been swept at home by the Green Bay Packers after losing at Lambeau earlier this year. They now come into our home and beat us 31-24 in a game which has revealed a lot of emotions in me. A lot of angry emotions. I am not happy at the end of that game at all. I am very mad, and I know a lot of other people are as well. So I thought, we did the pre-game stream where we were full of hope and we were full of optimism, and now we come in to the other side of this game where we vent out, because I know we do our reviews of the games a couple of days after, which is fine. You have time to have cool, calm and collected thoughts, but I think there is a great deal of importance on taking in people's opinions right after the game when it's happened, because that is when your emotions are at your highest. So let it all out. Whatever comments you have about this game, be it negative or let's get some positives in there as well. Put it in and we'll discuss it. But I am absolutely furious after that performance. We have now gone 1-3 in the NFC North. I think our NFC record has now gone to it's either 4-4 or we've got a losing NFC record now. We are going to be several games behind in the playoff hunt, and we just have some major problems on this team which look like they're going to cripple our season. And we're past the point now of, it's early, things can change, this can change, these are fixable problems. No, I'm sorry. We have a mentality problem in Detroit now. I've been worried about this for a very long time with the Lions, ever since the Commanders came in and kicked our arse in the playoffs last year. Does this team have the moral fortitude and the mental fortitude to be able to handle life as a favourite? Teams gunning at them, coming at them, playing at their own game. They're a favourite now. They're not an underdog who are trying to prove people wrong. They are a favourite in the NFL. They are a Super Bowl contender, and they should be acting like a Super Bowl contender and playing with a backbone. And we're seeing time after time after time when they are getting put into a corner, when we are beating teams, when we're losing to teams we should be beating, we're making mental mistakes, we're not doing this right, and parts of our team are just not turning up. I'm really starting to worry about this now. So I think there's a mentality problem with this team in working as favourites, and it's something that cannot be addressed in season. And, I'm so mad. Watching this game, and I have gone through every form of emotion possible, and just let's try and get this. I'll get into you guys, see what you're saying. Luke G, my brother from another mother, my better looking twin, I hope you're well. Luke, he goes, I'm not happy, and people who know me should know why. Yes, let's address the elephant in the room. I'm pretty sure, Luke, if I'm right, you're referring to Aiden. We did not touch Jordan Love this evening. Jordan Love got touched less than a nun. And you know what I'm talking about. They don't have hands laid on at all. The pass rush, where was it? Where was Marcus Davenport? Didn't we activate Marcus Davenport for this game? The superstar who's going to save our season and is such a great player, and he's a can crusher, and he'll be the opposite of Hutch, and we'll get that. Where was he? Just not there. We didn't sack him once. I don't think we even hit him. I just think we got to the point where we're just like, oh yeah, screw it, let's just let Jordan run around in the backfield and make plays on our secondary and dice it to pieces. I'm guessing that's why you're angry, Luke. I'm angry at that. I'm angry at Hutch. I'm angry at the rest of the defensive line. There's nobody opposite him. Nobody at all is providing any pressure on the quarterback whatsoever. And this is not a good Green Bay offensive line. They've got a 7th round left tackle. They're missing Elton Jenkins. They're missing so much on there. And yet, it was like there was a force field up around him. And that no one could get to him. Where's the pass rush? I'm sick and I'm tired of this team drafting can-crushing edges who can't rush a passer. We've got no one after Hutch and Aleem who has a good pass rush repertoire and can win a one-on-one. And they're getting isolated. Hutch and Aleem are getting isolated. They're getting doubled, and they've just got nothing. And we've got no one else on this team who could do a damn thing about it. It's just making me so mad. Defensively, we just couldn't get a stop today. That's 2 in a row. I said I wasn't worried about Kelvin after last week because he got once. He's been got twice now. Teams seem to have figured out what they're doing, and we're struggling. Once again, Hafley, the defensive coordinator, seems to have us on a hook. Their superstar edge came to play. Micah Parsons came in and just absolutely marmalised several of our drives on his own. He found a system to make his superstar look good, and they're missing all their defensive tackles. They lost Devontae Wyatt during the game. They lost Edgar and Cooper during the game. The literal interior of that defense is injured and out. Could we run up the middle? No. And we tried again and again and again and again to the point we got turned over on downs. Oh, we got some stupid play call in here. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just angry here, and this is why we're here, to vent. Detroit goes, thanks, Brad. We're good. Slappy's going to get slapped. Yeah, we're not good. I mean, we're good, but we're not playoff caliber. I don't think we're deep playoff caliber at this moment in time. That's how I genuinely feel. Even with Frank coming back, this is going to be tough. There, Terry says that Luke, there needs to be a fair criticism of Holmes. There does, and while I'm angry right now, and there does need to be a fair critique of Brad and the job he does. He's human. He makes mistakes, and too many people out there will just blindly knock down anyone who tries to have critique of him. I've genuinely been a massive Brad fan, but I can understand the critiques of him. We can see the way the roster's built this year and what's been done. We made no attempt at the deadline to get stronger. We kind of just thought we'll wait for injured guys to come back. Well, I mean, we're reaping what we sow here. Davenport did nothing. Pascal's out injured for the year. He's not coming back. Where's the edge reinforcements? We're going to rely on Ahmed Hassanin, a 6th round pick, to come back. I love the kid's determination and his spirit, but to expect him to come back and be a game changer right off the bat and fix everything here is just unrealistic. And, you're asking way too much of the kid. There just needs to be something different here. Luke goes, I've been critical of Brad. I was told I'm a hater. I need to chill on him, but look at the season. It's... Giovanni Lyons goes, no Super Bowl playoffs. I mean, look, we can still make the playoffs, don't get me wrong, but you've got 5 games left now, and you're at least 2 games behind in the playoffs, so you've got to win 2 of those 5 just to catch up, and you've got to hope that results go in your favour. The NFC North now is very tough. Even if we win at Minnesota and Chicago, we end 3-3. That's it. That's the best record we can manage now. Whether we can win the NFC North or not is going to be tough. So you're going through the wild card. You're 2 games back. You've got 5 to go. You've still got to go to the Rams, who are the best team in the NFC. So just say that one's a loss. You've got 4 games left to potentially find 3 from behind to get in. You've got to win everything. And this team is just struggling mightily right now. This wasn't the Giants we were playing this week. I said it on Twitter. We came in with a 10-point loss at the end of the game, at the end of the third quarter. We were losing by 10. The Giants, you can overcome that because the Giants are a 2-win team who are bad. The Packers are not a bad team. They're a playoff team. And when you let a playoff team get up 10 on you with 1 quarter to go, you've basically got to win every single drive. And they just didn't. They won 1. And that was pretty much it. And then they just waste the game on a 4th down call. I mean, let's go through a few more comments. We'll try and put some of this in here. Hayden's playing Greek yogurt. I'm positive we're out the playoffs. We're not out. You're not out until you're physically out, but it's looking... There's genuine concern for the first time now. I think even before this game I wasn't genuinely concerned. I'm genuinely concerned now that we're in a lot of bother. Terry goes, Holmes bad draft capital management, the trade-up will cost us. Yes, that's one difference between him and Howie. I mean, guys like Laporta, Branch, we're going to have to learn to start trading some of the young guys away to get excess capital so that we can wheel and deal a bit more. Because we had no capital to deal at the deadline, and ideally we needed to add at the deadline, and we just had nothing to work with because it's all gone on the draft. Howie has a strategy where he has capital for the deadline and for the draft, not just one. It means you can work all year round building your squad up, and that's what he does. And that's where we're not at the minute, but you've got to start by letting somebody you love go and reinvesting those assets wisely, and it just seems we're paying everybody right now the most amount of money we can. It's a thing for another day with that. But the capital management for the deadline is poor. First to worst, who knew? We're not worse than the Vikings. We're bad, but we're not as bad as the Vikings. We're not going to worst in the conference. Again, there's still 5 games to go. Still a lot can change, but I think we're not as high up as we thought. But I don't think we're as low as that either. But yeah, it's not been good so far. Hutchinson's only good versus backups. I mean, Hutchinson he had a decent day last. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the tape more on it, but I just didn't see him make many impactful plays today at all. And Micah Parsons did, and that was one of the big differences in this game. Their star showed up, ours didn't, and defensively, it made all the difference that it needed to. And we got out-coached again. We talked about this in the pre-game show. Were we going to learn the lessons of the first time we played the Packers? The answer is no. LaFleur just completely abused our man coverage scheme that we play, like he did in the first game. Jeff Hafley got our drives under wraps. There were a lot of negative plays. There were a lot of dumb plays by us, but we got behind the sticks, stupid penalties, which just opens up the game. Enigbari played well for them. Gary, Parsons. We played right into their hands again. There's a lot of short stuff down the field, which they rallied to, which we weren't able to make much from. There were some bad throws again from Jared today, which is concerning. That 4th down throw to J-Mo, he had J-Mo wide open and he throws behind him. J-Mo's a speed receiver. When you're running as fast as J-Mo does, when the ball gets thrown behind you, to have to adjust and correct and try and catch that thing is difficult. Yes, he is an NFL receiver who should probably make the catch, but Jared's under no pressure and he's got him in a wide line of sight. Why is he not putting it in front of J-Mo? It's a touchdown if you get that. Instead, it's a turnover on downs and we lose. Stupid mistakes. I don't disagree with the call from Dan to go for that. I think it was bad player execution from his quarterback that cost him. But there were some questionable calls in this as well. Time management was questionable again. That second to last drive we had, we were wasting so much time, letting the clock run down to the last 5 seconds before getting plays off. We did it against the Giants last week. I don't know whether it was a Ben's superpower or not, but we don't seem to have plays ready for these drives late in games when we're chasing and we're behind, which is concerning because we did it last week, so you think it's something they would have picked up on, but they were in the huddle, they were taking most of the clock, and then they were throwing a 2-yard screen to the running back or something like that. Your clock still keeps ticking. Went all the way down to 3 minutes when it should have probably been 4.5. And then you can only give up 1 or 2 first downs and the game is over. The clock management has been terrible with it. Giovanni goes, Frank's coming back in 2 weeks, 2 weeks too late. This is the worry. Obviously, you might have to accelerate his time frame now and try and get him back for the Cowboys game. Because they've got Kenny Clark, and Kenny Clark's going to do a lot of damage on that interior. Like, Devontae Wyatt had a good game before he got injured today, and I hope Devontae Wyatt as well. That injury looked bad, and you never want to see a player go down injured, whether it's yours or an opponent's. You just want best players playing football, so I hope he's well. But you're going to have to deal with Kenny next week, which is going to be tough. But we can't rush Frank back. We're going to have to wait. If it is the Rams game, we could go to LA needing to win to stay in, which is going to be the tough one. Yeah, none of us want that scenario there. Big DA says, Brad either gets somebody to sack the QB or he's fired. We have got to, and I love Brad and his drafting for the most part. I think he's very calculated. He's very good at what he does. And I think for the most part, he identifies the right players for this team. Certainly the players with the right mindset, the right skill set, and he's found a lot of good players for this team. The one place where he's always struggled for me, as I've said, they don't value pass rush enough in their edge rushers. They're looking for can-crushing edge rushers who are good against the run. They're looking for defensive tackles who are good against the run. They are so obsessed with stopping the run that they have forgotten the pass rush. Marcus Davenport can't rush the passer. Tyreek Williams can't rush the passer. DJ Reader can't rush the passer. There's none of these frontline guys we have who have a natural skill set as a pass rusher. The only two times he did it were with Hutch and with Aleem, and they've both been huge successes on this team. Guys who can stop the run, but they have a pass rush repertoire. They are good in the passing game. They are proper pocket collapsers, but they're on their own. Aleem's coming back off a serious injury. He doesn't look back to full speed yet. Hutch is just on his own on an island because nobody's helping him. There's been no effort in the draft put into finding established pass rushers. And if we go into this draft cycle and I hear that they're only looking at these big 6'5", 270-pound edge rushers again who can stop the run, and they're not going to get a pass rusher, I will get pretty mad at it because I just think it's the wrong strategy. You've got to find a balance between run defense and pass rush ability. At the minute, we're like this. We're unbalanced completely. And that means in games where we're struggling to get to the passer, they're just killing us downfield. Jordan Love has killed us today. He's abused the man coverage because man coverage works better when you've got some pressure on your quarterback and he's having to make tight throws and hurried throws and he's having to get it out before he's ready because your guys are in close enough coverage to take advantage of that. When Jordan Love is free in the pocket to just put the ball when he wants, and fair play to Jordan Love today, he was really good. Like, his throws were on the money. They were out wide in front of his receiver, not behind them. Our DBs couldn't make a play on a lot of the footballs because he was positioning them really well, but because he's not under pressure, he's got time to make those throws, and the whole balance of the offense just goes out of whack. No pass rush, man coverage fails, everything fails, and you get what we get here, where we couldn't make the stops when we needed to. We had two bites of the cherry at the end, a third down and a fourth down. We gave them both up, and both through the air as well, just because no pass rushers getting home and making that big game-defining play that's going to get you there. And that's where ultimately I think we failed. The one area he's failed during his draft process, he's not got enough bona fide pass rushers on this team. We've got no DBs who can blitz outside of Brian Branch, and we don't like to use Brian Branch as a blitzer for some reason. Like, we're taking him out the wheelhouse. Derek Barnes has just disappeared, completely and utterly disappeared. I'm really worried about him now because he's just not doing anything for us. He's there to help the pass rush and make plays, and he's not been. And yeah, just everything's out of whack. We've got a few players not playing well, and then we've got no pass rush, and everything is just a bit all over the place. Where are we at? Brad either gets somebody to sack the quarterback or he's fired. I mean, he's going to need to find somebody else as well. Hutch is a good D, not a great one. I mean, what is Hutch in now? Year 3, 4? I mean, generally, a lot of the great pass rushers, they'll emerge when they're out of their first contract. Hutch isn't yet. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Hutch has not shown the game-changing ability we've needed in the last couple of games, especially today, where we really needed him. But someone will probably look at the tape and give him an excuse or something. I do agree that he has been given too many excuses and that we need to demand more of him. We need to demand more of this team. This team has been great for the last 4 years, but this is the first real buffer they've hit now. There's no first ever first seed to be had. There's no 15-win season. Your next objective is to win a Super Bowl. There are no other moral victories before that now. And you have got to hold them to the standard of going to a Super Bowl, and they're not meeting that standard at this moment. Mike Green was right there. Yeah, he was, but this comes back to culture fit and stuff like that. I don't know if he was the best candidate available, but again, yeah, Mike Green is a genuine bona fide pass rusher. We act like pass rushing edges can't be taught to run block. It seems to be the other way round. Apparently they have to run block first before they can pass rush. You can do it the other way round. You can take a great pass rusher and turn him into a good run defender if you trust your coaching staff, which we do. It is just a fatal flaw for me in the way that we look at our draft picks, but again, I'm no expert. That's just my opinion on that one there. There was a guy with Davenport on his shirt wandering around. This is what annoys me. They're all saying he's back. I know what the excuse will be today. It's his first game back in 3 months. Of course he's going to be slow. That'll be the excuse, and then he'll get like one sack next week and he'll be a god, and then 2 weeks later he'll get hurt and it'll be, oh, we'll give him another chance when he's back. But yeah, Davenport was supposed to be the saviour here, and he just offered us absolutely nothing. Dacian Prime goes, I'm sick of us drafting players for 3 years' time. I mean, it depends where you're drafting them. If you're drafting them in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, I get that. You draft them for 3 years' time. The third round picks, the developmental picks, have been the tough one. Varkey, Manu, both look like massive liabilities at the moment in terms of what we gave up on them. I think Tesla is going to be very good. We saw Tesla today. We want to be positive. We saw some good stuff from Tesla today. But the amount we've given up for some of these guys who are not ready right away, and that's impacted our ability to work the trade deadline, that is a repercussion of this. This is where we're judging these guys. Isaac Tesla is the reason we couldn't work in the deadline this year. That is what he is. He is a project pick, and we couldn't work with him because all our third round picks are gone for the next 2 years. So, that's what you live or die by. But Brad does need to go back. He's got enough development picks on the roster now. I think he needs to go back to what he did in 22 and 23 when he's drafting now, or 21 and 22. More Malcolm Rodriguez's, less Broderick Martin's. But yeah, we need to change that a bit. Holmes needs to stop drafting, signing injured players. I mean, I will always get the whole injured player thing. If they're cheap and whatnot, you've got to stop giving these guys such prominent positions on the roster. I wouldn't mind if Marcus Davenport was on this roster. If Marcus Davenport was edge 5 or edge 4 even, maybe. We've got him in as a starter. He is a starter on this team. We're paying him nothing, which is fine, but we've got him as a starter. And he is a liability as a starter, a complete and utter liability as a starter, which is where it goes. We had for years, we had Emmanuel Mosley, we were giving him a prominent spot on the roster, and then he got hurt, and then we had to bring somebody else in. Pascal, we've had as a prominent position. He's meant to be edge 3 here. So your edge 2 and edge 3 are injury-prone guys who have proven to you they can't stay healthy, and you've kept them on your roster, and now your roster's out of balance. I don't mind the injured players, I just mind where they are on the depth chart. They need to be low on your depth chart, not high. And that's what's got to change with these picks, because we all know Josh Pascal's going to be here next year in some capacity. They'll give him a vet min deal and say it's good value, but where do they put him on the depth chart? If they're putting him at 3, it's not good value for money. So we need to change where we're at with the depth with these guys. Maybe next year they'll get a few more pieces in the trenches. The trenches look woefully undermanned right now, both sides of the ball. Again, with no pass rush on the D-line, and the job they're meant to do, the run setting, I thought both edges were bad today. I saw Hutch and Davenport they were biting on inside runs, and then Jacobs was just sticking his foot in the ground and heading outside the tackle. They didn't set the edge well today, either of them, or any of the edges who were playing, and that really hurt us. And the tackles are not setting as usually as well as they do. This is their speciality. When they can't defend the run, which we're paying them to do and what we've drafted them to do, it just makes everything so much more difficult because we've not drafted them to pass rush, and everything's out of whack right now. But you're looking at new guys on the offensive line. You probably want to bring some vets in at this point, but you're looking at new edge rushers as well, which you're probably going to invest in the draft, hopefully. But we'll see. But yeah, the trenches are going to need a good look at in this offseason, regardless of what happens, because, how long's Decker going to be able to go on for? Decker got absolutely ruined by Micah Parsons on one snap. I know it's just one drive and you get got, but, we pay him well. Parsons nearly killed Jared Goff on one of his sacks because of this weird, I don't even know what move to call it, but he just beat him. It's like Taylor didn't even touch him, and he ran just right past him. It was mesmerising, actually, but you've got to look for some long-term stability for Taylor's position. You don't know if Frank's going to go another year. Your guard situation's spotty. You're going to have to invest quite a lot in this season to get us back to where we want to go. Short passes killed the D. A lot killed us today. At the end of the day, it's no pass rush. That's what kills the defence most. No pass rush. Jordan Love kills man coverage. game over. That's what did it for us. But it's because Jordan Love had all the time in the world to throw. Now the refs did not help in this game, and the refs that's another kettle of fish. 2 touchdowns entirely down to refereeing decisions. We can argue that we've lost this game because of the refs, but I try not to use that sort of way of thinking. But we cannot deny that there were 2 touchdowns that happened on 4th downs because of poor refereeing decisions, which have ultimately cost us this game as well. So it's not all on the team. The officiating in the league looks looking at, because it's been absolutely disgusting. It was just bad all around today. The refs hosed us in the first half. We hosed ourselves in the second half. It's tough. Parsons owns Detroit. We could have had him. I doubt we would have gone after Micah Parsons, to be fair, but you want Hutch to do much better than he has been. So yeah, we need our guy to perform. You can't go on 4th down every time. It is totally predictable. Plus, we're not good enough this year. The 4th down stuff is an interesting conversation. Again, the JMO drop one, I agree with going for that. It was a good scheme. It was well called out. Jared Goff just misses one of the easiest throws he'll ever have in his life. And you can't put that down to coaching. And yes, we could have said we could have gone for the 3 points and brought it down to 7 then, but I thought they did well. The one that really bugged me was the 4th down run with Jameer. We rushed 4 times on the set. It was 4 Jameer Gibbs rushes. On 3rd and 2, we run him up the gut behind the right guard. The play gets blown up because I think it's Isaiah McDuffie comes through the A gap unblocked and just smokes him, and we get no gain whatsoever. And then on 4th and 2, Goff checks out the play, and what do? We do the exact same run with Jameer Gibbs through the same gap, the same play, and the same missed protection allows a rusher to blitz through the same gap and stuff him and turn over on downs like that. It's just, you've ran 4 times in a row and you've just ran the same play twice. Jeff Hafley must have been laughing in his chair going, oh my god, they've done it again. Like, what are they doing? This is just silly play calling. That should have been a punt. And what happens? You turn over the ball on downs. The very next play, Jordan Love smokes a moonball down the field, and for some reason, Amik Robertson is on Christian Watson. Why is our slot corner marking their wide receiver 1 when we've got DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold on the field? I know it'll be a scheme thing or whatever, but none of them should have left his side. Amik's had a terrible few games now. Teams are picking on him. He makes some impact plays, he makes some pass breakups. He got very lucky with one where he should have been called for DPI, but on the most part, he's given up big explosive plays now, and he's a liability in that aspect of the game. But in 2 plays, that 4th down run and that 51-yard touchdown is what cost us this game. Silly things, I agree with you. The 4th down stuff, it's got to change. The offensive line just can't hold up under the pressure, and we're not able to execute the plays properly, and it's costing us big time. Really is. Giovanni Land goes, turkey tasting bad. Amazing now. Oh, well, exactly. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your turkey still. Don't let it get over you that. If Dan comes out with clean up some stuff, I'll explode. Yeah, this is beyond that now. This is beyond cleaning up stuff. This is... it's not execution, it's mental. There's a mental block in there with some of these guys. And they just can't seem to get out of a rut at the moment. Again, they're just not executing right. We're making simple mistakes, which are costing us. Oh, we've lost Amon-Ra St. Brown now. That is going to be a killer. No Amon-Ra, no Raymond. You know, our receiver core is depleted. And it's so tough. You know, this injury bug is biting us so bad. It appears to be an ankle injury with Amon-Ra. If that's a high ankle sprain, that's 6 weeks. That's potentially the end of his regular season done. Praying to God it's not. But that injury could be an absolute killer for us. But yeah, the clean-up stuff line is getting old. it's something Matt Patricia would have said. When Matt Patricia used to talk about fundamentals, we're not doing the fundamentals correctly. We're going to correct the fundamentals. We're going to train on the fundamentals. He used the word so much. He used to give me a tick in my eye. I used to have a nervous tick every time I heard the word fundamentals. It seems to be clean up stuff with this. We're in week 13. What are you cleaning up? We're 3 months into the season. Why are you still cleaning basic things up? You shouldn't be. Basic execution, everything should be, we should be a well-oiled machine now that's moving, it's running well, it's not making these silly mistakes. We've got to start asking tough questions about this team. Dan has got to start asking tough questions about this team, like, are they ready for it? Are they capable of this? Are you, as the player you say they are, and the money that we're paying you, capable of putting in performances which can win this team games? And most of our high earners right now are not doing that. Goff is playing inconsistent. Amon-Ra is now hurt. Hutch has been inconsistent. Kirby is just not playing at all. He's injured. Like, we've got so much money invested in this team not playing and not delivering for us. He's got to really ask some hard questions of this team now. They've just been beaten up in their own house, and it's a worrying trend. It's happening more. And I know we've still got the streak of not having lost 2 in a row for however, but we've now lost, 4 of our last 7? Is it 4 of our last 7 we've lost? We've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. We're just trading right now. We've not been good for 6 or 7 weeks. We've been inconsistent for 6 or 7 weeks. This is beyond cleaning stuff up. This is a bigger problem, which we've got to be very careful of. What are our 2 needs now in the defensive end, interior line? A second defensive end is an absolute must. You've got to bin off Davenport and Pascal for good when the season is done. Wipe the slate. Bye-bye. You're done. Ahmed Hassanin is going to be here. You want him to be your impact edge player as your edge 3 next year. Like a guy you can bring into the rotation, make splash plays with whilst he develops. We want him to be a rotational player next year, sorry. We need an edge 2 who is impactful now, be it a high draft pick or you're going to go to free agency to find somebody. And you're going to have to spend a bit of money, and we have money to spend next year. We can restructure contracts, we can move money around. We're in a good cap situation, better than people will tell you that we're in next year. But your defensive end is a massive need going into next year, and you do need someone else on your interior. You need a versatile interior offensive lineman, and spend a high pick on him. Like, we've got no high pick backups on this line. Manu, development, who else have we got on there? We've not got many rookies on this team. Frazier's a 6th round pick who's not going to save us tomorrow. You've got all day 3 picks developing on this line right now. You've got to put a 1st or 2nd into somebody. So I think it's just trench warfare across the line now is where you're going. Trenches. Build those trenches back so we can play Detroit football the way that we want to, because we're just not being able to do that at the minute. Tim Martin goes, I'm sick. I am as well. The thing is, I just care a lot about this team, and I'm, out of all the guys on the podcast, I'm the emotional one, as you will all know. I'm the one who gets angry, who gets sad, who I just say my mind. I get very emotionally invested in this, and right now, it was weird because I didn't think I would, but the further I got towards the end of that game, the angrier I started getting, and I just got really angry in the end, because I think I'm coming to terms with the fact that this team is not good enough to get there right now, and that hurts me, because I thought we might do it this year and we might get a bit closer. But from what I've seen, I'm trying to be optimistic, I'm trying to say this, but I can't. My eyes tell me what my eyes tell me, and I trust my eyes. I do it with draft prospects, I do it with games. My eyes, I trust. I trust what I see, I trust what feedback I get from them, and my eyes are not telling me a good story right now. So yeah, you're not on your own. I'm feeling sick after that. It's just, we'd have won that in previous years, and we didn't this time. Giovanni goes, well, what's next? The sky is falling, all is lost, free Tesla. I mean, when the snow has settled on this, we are still a plus 500 team right now. We are a 7-5 team. 5 years ago, we would have killed for 7-win seasons. We've got to keep some perspective here. The world is not ending. We still have a lot of good players on this roster. We have some we need to get rid of. I think we're in a position where we're at a platform right now. We're not at a platform where we're Super Bowl. We're not at a platform where we're tanking. We are at a steady, stable platform right now. And I think right now, this year, the stable platform is what we're going to be. It's what do you do with this off-season coming? Do you build on your stable platform and go up again? Or do the foundations start to crumble and you start to sink again? That's where I'm at. We're still in a good position here. We've still got the stable foundation. It's all about this off-season and how we elevate ourselves back up to where we were again. So it's not woe is me, the world is ending, throw it all in, start tanking for, whoever the hell's going to be the number one draft pick in 27 or whatnot. We're not going to do that. We're just going to say that we're probably not as good as we thought we were when the season started, and the results are backing that up now. This is not same old Lion mentality. This is just us using our eyes and seeing what we can see. I think that's where we're at. So, yeah, the world is not ending, but it doesn't look like we're going to get our happy ending this year. I should probably use a different term of phrase. We're not going to get the fairy tale Super Bowl ending this year. But ultimately, the world is not ending either. I think that's where I'm at. Looks nice in Dallas. Yeah, I've got that game on at the minute. I'm watching the Dallas Chiefs game. Chiefs look like they're kicking their ass a little bit. If you're rooting for the guide, we need Dallas to lose this. But at this point, I don't care. If the Lions can't do it themselves, then I don't want to hear it. It is what it is. Dan Bradholm thinks he can be cheap and get results. I mean, I get where Brad has been. Brad had to work a certain situation when he got here with all the dead cap we had. He didn't have a lot to work with, and he had to do it through the draft. And I get that for the last 4 years we've been slowly building this roster out. And I've said a lot of times, we're 90% of the way now. Through the building through the draft stuff and making sure you've got your core in place, you're 90% of the way. It's what do you do the last 10% of the way to elevate yourself to a Super Bowl. That's where you start taking risks. It's where you start trading for players. It's where you start spending a bit more money. It's when you start getting a bit more aggressive. Because you can only go so far with the just build it all through the draft way of doing it. You've got to utilise that, and you've got to supplement it with the aggressiveness, the aggressive mindset. He's not done that yet. And this is probably the first year where I would have said he should, but he hasn't. So certainly this off-season coming and in the draft, I will expect him to be a lot more aggressive in getting us that final step to the Super Bowl. Because, the Bears will be a better team next year. The Packers, everyone's going to be a better team next year. The league keeps moving on, and you've got to keep moving up to stay in front of the curve. And the fact is, we've spent so many resources in the draft on future picks that our pipeline's not getting supplemented right now. The 24 draft, we've got nothing out of that so far apart from Terrion, really. The 25 draft, we're not getting much out of that just for now, for a lot of time yet. So that pipeline's stalled. We've got to get aggressive because, it's how it's been done. Frank is going to be too little too late, possibly, but it'll help us for the year. It'll help us be competitive still. So, maybe it is a little too late, but it'll help. And it will at least give us another year to sort this now. I would not think he's just coming back for a little rodeo at the end of the season. I would expect him to be here next year as well, as a bare minimum. That gives you a lot more draft flexibility because you don't have to draft a centre high next year. You can sort of work out a succession plan for a while, but I think it will be good in the long term having Frank back, for sure. We're asking the secondary to do I bet you we draft an O-lineman first. I mean, I don't care. O-lineman, D-lineman, as long as it's trench, I don't care. The O-line needs more high-level picks put into it, not these development guys who aren't working. So I will take a trench player first. As long as it's someone who can rush the passer or someone who can keep our passer safe, I don't care. We're asking the secondary to do the impossible. We are Man coverage is difficult, especially when you're holding up for sort of 5, 6, 7 seconds, because Jordan Love can run around in the pocket and do what he wants. So you're right, it's very difficult to ask them to keep tight coverage for so long. I thought in parts they were good. They made some good plays, but there were too many plays where the quarterback's making such exact throws. They're so accurate because of the amount of time he's got to set and get all the power into his throws and just zip them into a corridor. And that's where your pass rush should be stopping that happening, and it's so hard for a DB. There's just a lot of those catches you look at from the Green Bay players and you're like, well, fair play. Nothing our DB can do about it. He's done everything he can, so I'm right. You're right, sorry. We are on a bit of a hide into nothing, or they're on a bit of a hide into nothing there, so it is tough. We all knew and have been saying they need pass rush help, but it never gets addressed. Most of the game, lad, all day long. Yep, you're right, Det fan. I think they've just got misplaced trust. They trust their players, which is a good and a bad thing. Like your core players, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, trusting them is absolutely fine because you know they'll deliver, but they put too much faith in the wrong players, I think, at times. And there's some players who don't deserve the trust they get from this team. They just do not repay it. And I think that's ultimately where they fall down, especially the injury-prone guys. They put way too much faith into these guys, and then they just get nothing back off them, and it burns them constantly. You know, Pascal and Davenport is a big part of our edge room, and neither of them have done a damn thing for us this year. And we know they're injury prone, and we said we're going to go into this season with these guys, and they're going to be a big part of our room, even though we know they're hurt all the time. That bites you, and that kind of loyalty is not deserved, in my opinion. So yeah, that's where something's got to change. The injury prone ones, we've got to start getting hardline, and I've said this for years now, going back to the days of Julian Aquara and Deshaun Hand and stuff like that. We've been way too giving with these guys who just can't stay healthy, and you got to get brutal, unfortunately, is the way about it. Dallas is down, they're not anymore, but I'm a bit behind on the comments. We can't use BB with Kirby out, that is true. Brian's concerning me now. There was that 2-play sequence where he made that wonderful pass break up in the red zone on 3rd down, but then on 4th down, the Dontavian Wicks catch, which shouldn't have been a catch, but it was. He just gave up on the route. Now, I will give him a little bit. He turned his head round and couldn't see the ball in Love's hands. I think Love had already airballed it at this point. But he's turning back and looking at the QB. He doesn't see the ball and he slows down. Just lets Dontavian Wicks run into the end zone and quote-unquote catch it. It looked like he gave up on the run, but I think he just needs a little bit more awareness than that. There's just been a few mental lapses from Branch recently, and I love Brian Branch more than anybody. I think he's a potential future Hall of Famer. He could be that good, but in the last month or so, he's just been making some errors that are not like him. Again, this comes down to the mentality of this team. What's going on with them? They're making mistakes they shouldn't be, and that is more true than Branch than a lot of others. So I'm concerned a bit for Brian. I've no doubt he can turn around whatever's going off, but yeah, these mental lapses are just getting a little bit too much. The O-line drafting has been average too. I mean, we've not really drafted many O-line since Bragg got here. Decker was already here. Frank was already here. Penny they made with the first pick, but Glasgow's a guy we've had before. We've not really drafted a starter on the offensive line after Penny. In fact, Tate. Tate's the first guy we've drafted as a starter on this line since Penny. That's a 4-year gap. And Tate, by the way, is a home run. I think I saw Avery say on Twitter, on Facebook the other day, that Tate Ratledge is a bust, and I'm just like, what crack are you smoking? In no world is Tate Ratledge a bust. That guy, you could see him today. He's favouring his shoulder. Tate Ratledge is hurt, and he is playing in immense pain right now. And then the very next play, he folded Kingsley and Igbari on half on a run block. Like, Ratledge is playing out his mind at the moment, given how much pain he is in. I think he's been a fantastic addition to this team. Him and Penny will be great on the right-hand side of that line for years to come. I think they've drafted well, but they've not drafted often enough. It's literally Penny and Ratledge in 5 drafts now. They're the only starters you've drafted for your offensive line. Everyone else has been development. Sorsdal, Manu, guys like that who just haven't worked. and the development picks for the line have been poor. So something maybe needs to change there. It's just there's not been enough of them. With Kirby gone, he's our best safety. Yeah, the Kirby injury is weird. It's his knee. This seems really severe. I know they don't want to put him on IR because they can only bring so many guys back, but if it's a knee injury and it's keeping him out this long, you've got to be concerned. He's barely practicing. It's concerning. Just some injuries are really getting to us. But Harper's been good. I don't think Harper's been detrimental to this team. He got hurt today. I hope he's well. But I don't think we suffered as much without Kirby as we would have if Harper hadn't have been playing the way that he has. So he's a positive from today. We need everybody to lose a lot. We do, but I'm just not a fan of other teams. I want us to do it. We take care of our own business. You know, I know Pride of Detroit do a routing guide and stuff like that, but I will never follow anything like that. First and foremost, I want my team to do the dirty work, and I don't want to get in because someone else fails. Champions do it themselves. Losers have others do it for them. Yeah. Penne fell into their hands. He may have done, but you still got to pick him. How many times a year do we say this player fell into somebody's hands? Micah Parsons fell into the Cowboys' hands. You know, Penny Sewell fell into our hands. Sometimes it's luck and it happens, but you still got to make the pick. Bob Quinn wouldn't have made that pick. He'd have probably picked in. He'd have picked a corner where Penny was, or he'd have picked a wide receiver or something stupid like that. So, you know, you've still got to make the calls. Hutch has been mid all season. I don't think that's necessarily true. I get why people are on there. People want Hutch to play like a superstar. He has not played like a superstar all season. We can all agree on that. He has not been a superstar all year. But to say he's been mid all year, I think is also a bit disingenuous. I think in the middle is somewhere. He's not superstar. He ain't mid. He's been somewhere in the middle. But today, his absence was noticeable. So, you know, obviously that's going to fuel things towards the downside of it. Giovanni goes, I'm just going to listen. Bad game. We actually had no answers. They could have bullied us the whole game. The annoying part is we're not playing complementary football. The first quarter, our defence was actually pretty good. And I thought for the most part they did a good job of keeping Green Bay at bay. But the offence was nowhere to be seen. Do you now know we have not scored in the first quarter of a game since Washington? That's Philadelphia, New York, and now Green Bay. 3 games in a row. We don't have a single point in the first quarter. We were losing at the end of the first quarter to Philly. We were losing by 10 points to New York after the first quarter. We were losing by 10 points to the Packers today just after the first quarter. Something is wrong with the start. We're not playing complementary football. The defense starts off good, keeping us in the game. The offense then comes to life and starts scoring. And then the defense goes to sleep and keeps giving up touchdowns. Like when the offense did start playing, the defense went to sleep. But at the start of the game, when the offense was asleep, the defense was playing. If these two units played together, we might have something. But they're not. They're playing out of sync. We can't play complementary football to save our lives. And that is something Dan Campbell says in his press conferences a lot. We've just got to start playing complementary football. We've just got to start playing complementary football. We've just got to start playing... Well, when are we, Dan? When are we going to play complementary football? When are we going to call a good game on offense and defense? And when are we going to work in sync together? Because championship level teams work in sync together and they crush their opponents into the ground. We, 2 weeks in a row now, have gone double-digit points behind and we've had to play from behind. We do not do well playing from behind because we are not built to play from behind. We got lucky playing a 2-win team last week. We're playing a playoff team this week and we've been punished for it. 3 games without a point in the first quarter shows there's big issues with our offense at the start of games which needs correcting. I don't know what it is. Maybe we'll have to go through those 3 games and do some footage on them and see what they're doing wrong, but it's not acceptable. 3 games not scoring in the first quarter at all just keeps putting you in a hole. That's why we're losing games. I'm just going to say that right now. Luke goes, AH makes more than Miles Garrett. He's not even in the top 5 of pass rushers. I mean, I can see your argument there. If it's his first game, why start him over Mohammed? Makes no sense. I mean, Mohammed's not hit the quarterback in a month. Mohammed's just gone to sleep. He's had his little rush, and Mohammed's gone back to being what he is. He's just a rotational guy who can have the odd impact here and there. But Mohammed, I think now for 4 games, hasn't registered a hit or a sack. So AQM's not exactly the result now either. Giovanni goes, how do they fix the team? God, we could spend hours on that. I think the very simple answer is we have to fix our offensive line. That's where it's all gone wrong. The offensive line is not holding up in pass protection good enough. They're not scheming well enough to get out of that. I mean, the one time that we did this right, I talked at the front of the game, at the front of the show when we did the pre-game stuff. What do they need to do to negate the lack of pass protection? Put in extra blockers. Just have 2 guys running routes downfield and have more blockers in. What was the one drive we did that and absolutely tore Green Bay to shreds? It was the Tesla touchdown drive. There were just Tesla and JMO running routes. We were in jumbo the entire drive down the field. We kept Goff in a clean pocket. He was able to get passes away to JMO and Tesla. We get to within shooting distance, and then what happens? We go into jumbo again. They take a shot at the red zone. JMO, who had a fantastic game today, JMO absolutely clears out that entire end zone. 3 defenders go with JMO. Tesla just runs a crossback and he's on his own and he scores a touchdown, and it's from about 20 yards out. It's so simple. We trusted our £80 million speedy wide receiver up front to do damage and to create opportunities with just one running mate, whilst everyone else is in blocking, giving Jared time to throw. And it was successful. I don't know why we didn't do it more. Working in that jumbo set seems to be the best way for us to go now. But we've got to fix the O-line. We've got to work around its limitations till Frank is healthy. We've found it now. Work that jumbo package. Just use JMO and Tesla, because between the 2 of them, they're menaces. And you can get damage done with them. You found your solution. But that's short term. Long term, you've got to fix the offensive line. And then defensively, we've got to find more pass rush off the line. And it feels like we've said that for the last decade, but until we solve it, it's always going to be an issue for us. Touchdown 1 was good, but the timeout was ridiculous. There was an offside when the ref blew up. Oh, God, don't even start me on that. The Packers shouldn't have had their opening 2 touchdowns at all. Refs were just atrocious, but I'm not going to complain about them too much. There's enough to complain about with the team right now. Gibbs 4th down, Goff switch play to Gibbs. I have a strong feeling it was a short pass. Yeah, he yelled kill, so he obviously checked out of something, but you've just had that play blown up. So to call the same, as soon as that defense heard kill, you instantly saw them shift and put an extra guy in that gap. And what happens? The extra guy in that gap shoots it and takes Gibbs down. You essentially told Green Bay what you're doing when Jared Goff's yelling kill, kill, kill. So there's got to be a secondary play available, and there just wasn't there. Duncan, hello. Now that was hard to watch. Every other game is the curse. It is. Who played at centre? Seriously, it was Colon. Colon had a bad game. Colon stepped on Goff's foot, and Colon was one of the ones who rolled up Amon-Ra and hurt him. Colon had a very dodgy start to this game. He stepped on our quarterback, nearly forced a fumble on a handoff, and he was one of the 2 who hurt Amon-Ra. He was just bowling around all over the place like he got no sense of direction. But I think outside of that, he was alright on the day. But yeah, those 2 big plays at the start were not it. Lisa goes, okay, I'm disgusted. Yeah, I get you, Lisa. I'm with you on that. I'm completely disgusted as well. To the point where I can't even blame the refs here. I'm looking at the team and what they didn't do right. Even though the refs did screw us completely, it's absolute tough. Duncan goes, offense put up 21 points, or was it 24? It was 24 to 31. I predicted 35-31. I predicted 32-20, so I kind of almost got it right, but the wrong way round. Dr. Detroit goes, Slappy is getting hurt tonight. I mean, come on, guys. I know Yeah, I'm in no position to talk about this. I am probably on the slappy camp, but I also listen to people's concerns. A lot of slappies don't listen to people's concerns in a reasonable manner. I will listen to your concerns and I will take them in, even if I don't agree with them. So, yeah, the people who are just outright optimistic that everything's fine, this is a bad day for them because it's not true anymore. But at the same point, we have to keep it real, you know. There are criticisms to be had with this team, but don't go too far with the criticism. Sometimes the criticism can go overboard, like the praise can go overboard. We've got to find the sensible area in the middle, but it's not a great day to be one who is just overly optimistic about here. With something's going to have to get changed. We have one game in the next 17 days. We will train. Yep, you've got to get right and ready for Dallas now. They've got the same amount of rest as we have. You've got to win Dallas now. No ifs, ands or buts. You've got to win Dallas. Dallas is a must-win game. If anybody tells you otherwise, they are lying. Because you've got to go to LA after that. That Dallas Cowboys game now is a must-win. No ifs, ands or buts. Montgomery had a decent game. He did, and I was glad they used Monty more. It worked as well. Monty got some of those hard yards through the middle that we've struggled with in the past. I loved the use of him in the Wildcat. I thought that was tremendous. It was well drawn out on the broadcast as well about what it does. You've got to put Goff out wide as a receiver, but you've still got to send a defender out there with him so it lightened the box for Monty to truck his way into the end zone. I want to see more play calling like that. When we get creative with the play calling, we're actually not that bad. Dan should dip into the bag of tricks a little bit more, but Monty and Wildcat is something we should use more. He's shown that he can pass it if we need to. He's also shown now he can work as a running back out the set, especially in the red zone when we're struggling to get him from time to time. So yeah, I did like that use, and I'm glad Monty is back involved with us again. Jared may surprise us. He was talking about getting them wide receivers the ball and letting them run the 5 yards after. I mean, Jared's just going through a phase of inconsistency right now. For the most part, he was good today, but there were bad errors that cost us as well, so we need him to be even better. J-Mo had a fair game. Jameson Williams had a fantastic game. J-Mo is the standout player from this game, and I won't hear anything otherwise. His impact on this team is huge. No more so than the drive we just told you about, the Tesla touchdown. He threw a block when Jared Goff went running. Good Lord, we saw Jared Goff run today. He had a big run downfield. But they showed you the perimeter block that J-Mo threw for him, which was tremendous. Just absolutely banjacked some poor Packer into the stands. But it allowed Jared to get an extra 10 yards, which was wonderful from him. But then his impact on the Tesla touchdown, like I said, they're both at either side of the offensive line. They cross, J-Mo crosses, the safety and the corner go with him, Tesla hits up, comes across, no defenders left. J-Mo cleared out the end zone. That is how much teams are worried about him. And because we were targeting him in this game, they had to be aware of him and what he was doing. Like, 2 plays on that drive. He doesn't get a touchdown. He doesn't get a big fancy reception. He throws a critical block and he creates the touchdown for Tesla. Just all the stuff that J-Mo does behind the scenes is not talked about anywhere near enough. Jameson Williams had a fantastic game. And yes, maybe he should have caught that 4th down pass, but it was a bad throw from Jared behind him, and I can understand why he didn't. So J-Mo was tremendous. He's certainly one of my players of the day from this one, and he's exempt from this criticism fest that we're having here. Rob, son of Battle, says we have at least 7 D players who should be replaced by practice squad players, so we have room for Miles G. Maybe injuries have hurt our O-line. They have. Obviously, Ratledge is playing hurt. I'm pretty sure Penne's playing hurt. Taylor Decker, we know, is playing hurt. Glasgow's playing hurt. In fact, there's probably not a single one of them who isn't playing hurt. Maybe just Awashika right now. But you are right. There are lingering issues to all our offensive line, which is just not good. But they're powering through it, thankfully. But yeah, you are correct. The injuries haven't helped, but we've got the lack of depth exposed now. And I've said this for the last 2 years, if you listen to this pod, when we've talked about the team in pre-season and the depth chart, what have I always been asking for? More quality depth on the defense, on the offensive line, and I keep getting told, well, there's no good quality offensive line depth in the league. Well, draft them. If there's no good quality for you to put on your roster, draft them and get them in there. And we haven't. And we're paying for that now. So, I don't do the whole told you so skit, but because these guys are all playing Hercs, we've got no one else to stick in there. It just makes things very difficult for us. Rob goes, hilarious, you were so optimistic before the game when everyone who actually knows football predicted this Lions loss. I mean, if you want to say that, fine. Hindsight is 2020. You can say you see this loss coming. Me, of course I'm happy before a game. I am an emotional fan. I get happy before a game. My Detroit Lions are about to play. Even when we were Dan Campbell's first year team, when we were getting our ass kicked every week, I was happy before a game, and I always used to plan our route to victory. No matter who we played, there was always a way we could win. So I go into a game with a positive mindset. Because what's the point? If I go into a game thinking we're going to lose, why do I bother supporting the team? It's just negative. I will never ever go into a game thinking that we're going to lose. Ever. We could have 52 varsity high school footballers out there against the 1980 Chicago Bears. I would still back my team to win, and I would act like they were going to win. It's part of the enjoyment of being a fan. If you saw this loss coming beforehand, good for you. That's excellent. I'm not gonna knock you for that. But I will always be optimistic before games. It is who I am. And now after the game is done, and I've seen what I've seen, now I can be angry. Because I am emotional. I will come on here and be angry afterwards. That's the whole point of being a fan. So, yeah, if you saw it beforehand, great. But I will never, ever think this team can lose a game before it happens. It's just not the way that I think. So, yeah. Hopefully KJ can stay injury-free next season. Well, it seems like a lot of our players are going to need the off-season to rehab existing issues. And, I know a lot of people get on at the Lions coaching staff and the fitness staff and that, and it is concerning how many players have come into this season with lingering injury issues, having a full year to rehab them. So it's something we're going to have to watch. But a lot of our players, obviously Taylor had surgery, so he came in with a lingering issue. Kirby's had the knee issue for a long time. Some of them it's happened during the season. Obviously, Penne and Ratledge it's happened during the season. Glasgow, I think, had lingering injury issues. So I think there does need to be something done on the off-season to make these guys more prepared, because we have a lot of guys carrying severe knocks right now and playing through them. The way things stand as of today, we might lose our playoff game if we make them. Again, you've just got to make the playoffs. We could play like this for the rest of the season and just scrape in as the 7th seed. That's fine. As long as if you play your first game of the season where you play complimentary football and play well in the playoffs, you'll win it. The playoffs, it's basically starting from scratch. Whatever's come before, you get it out your system, whatever. It's happened. You're starting from a clean slate, so I still think we could go to the playoffs and win a game, but we need to play well on both sides of the ball, and we're just not doing that at the moment. Brad, hey, we need to fire Morton. I don't know. The stuff with Morton's obviously going to come out now. Whether he goes or not, whether they get someone else in, I don't know. But again, something's got to change play calling wise. 3 games where you've not scored a point in the first quarter. Not acceptable in the slightest. SW Lion, hope you're doing well. Wow, did Detroit lose in the trenches or what? The pass rush was non-existent all game long. They did their best when they did play action, but for Love, it was like a scrimmage out there. That is a perfect summarization of the game. I could not have said it better myself. You have just put all the issues in there in one. For Jordan Love, it was a scrimmage. For Jared Goff, it was doing the gauntlet against gladiators with live weapons. That is essentially what this game was. Maybe we need another play caller. Maybe we do. They need to sit down and study hard the start of games. For me, and again, I had this argument on Twitter today. I started shouting about how we should take more deep shots downfield, and everyone's response is the pass protection's not holding up long enough to take shots downfield. Okay, that's fine. But what's happening as a result Safeties are coming up to the line of scrimmage, and they are just going to town on the offensive line. Because we're so squished, the defenses can be aggressive on us. So it's all right saying we can't hold up in pass protection, and but then you're just basically shrugging your shoulders and go, nothing we can do about it, and you're just essentially giving up. You've got to find a way to make it happen, and we did when we went to jumbo sets. But we're starting games and we're playing way too conservatively. We're taking no shots down the field. The other defense gets up aggressive, stops us playing. We've got to do something different at the start of games. First play of the game, launch a 50-yarder downfield, something like that. Do something to keep an opposition defense off your line. Something has to change. But yeah, play calling, they've got to take a long, hard look at themselves. So many questions there is, and of course we'll have a proper review for this game eventually. I just wanted to do the whole venting segment first, and for you guys as well, to put all your concerns and comments in here. SW Line goes, not a playoff caliber team. Defense needed to show up today, and they didn't. That's a fair comment about the defense. It didn't show. I mean, it showed for the first quarter, but then when the offense got going, it fell to sleep. They've got to find a way to manufacture pressure on the quarterback. We'll have to take a look at the defense closer when the tape comes out, but they're just no sacks, no quarterback hits today, no nothing. And I swear to God, if PFF release their grades tomorrow and there's 30 pressures from the Lions in this game, I'm going to go nuts. You all saw it with your own eyes today. There was no pressure on Jordan Love whatsoever, so do not let PFF fool you. Do not let the beat writers try and convince you that there's some magic thing that happened where we did actually get a lot of pressure, but nothing happened. You all saw it. There was none. So they need to sort that there. Who had Tesla on their bingo card? We said before the game, Tesla's at that stage now in his development, 2/3 of the way into the season. He's done a lot of special teams reps. He's got some reps on the first team offense. They'll start sliding him in more now. You saw his role grow today. He did very well. You'll see his role grow next week. Exactly the same thing that happened with Amon-Ra in his first year. Isaac Tesla is right where he needs to be right now. He is right on track to develop. So, hopefully that carries on. What is this aversion that the Lions have to put Gibbs and Monty in the backfield at the same time? Yeah. No two back sets today. We talked about it in the pre-game, didn't we? We wanted to see two back sets. We didn't get a damn thing. I don't know what the aversion is to not putting them both in there at once. It's confusing, and maybe it's a question that the beat writers should ask instead of for the millionth time asking if JMO's happy with his target share. Maybe ask something different. Maybe ask why they're not using two running backs at once, because I would love an answer to that question. So if there's any beat writers watching this, and I know there won't be, please ask the question, where are the two running back sets? And please get an answer out of him. Green Bay was the smarter team today, even setting aside the BS calls by the officials. They were. Green Bay outcoached us. LaFleur decimated our man coverage scheme because we had no pass rush, and Hafley, for the second time this year, nullified the offense as and when he needed to. With a lot of players injured, I might add as well. He is a tremendous coach. He'll be a head coach in future, and I will be glad when his back is gone from the NFC North. Rat was in pain also. Rat is in a lot of pain. He is playing so well, Tate Ratledge. I am really impressed with him, with how Tate's done in the circumstances. He had one bad game against Philly where he's coming up against two of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, and he's a rookie. And yes, he struggled. Outside of that, Tate Ratledge has been very good this year, and I thought he was good again today. And considering the pain he's playing in, it makes it even more impressive. Tate Ratledge was born to be a Detroit Lion, and that is going to be a draft pick that is absolutely going to pay off for this team. In Goff, you'll trust laughing. Of course we're going to trust in our quarterback. What else do you want for us? We have to go around saying that we don't trust the quarterback? The team trusts him. I trust him. Jared Goff kept us in this game today. We kept going 10 points behind because the defense couldn't make a stop. For the most part of his career here, Jared Goff has been very good, and he's shown he can win us playoff games. So of course I'm going to trust Jared Goff. Can he get us to a Super Bowl? I don't know if ultimately that we can get there with him, but Jared Goff came to the worst franchise in the NFL, and we are now a team that can perennially get to the playoffs. Even you biggest haters of Jared Goff out there can't deny the stability that he's given this franchise. Much needed stability. And he's given us something we've not had in 30 years. So of course I'm going to trust him, even when he's going through the bad times. We don't just switch off players here because they have a bad month. That's just what a fair weather fan is. So of course I'm going to ride and die with Goff while he's here. After he's gone, that's maybe different, but of course I'm going to trust in my quarterback. That's just silly. If we had Mayfield, we'd be doing better. I have no idea. Literally no idea. Mayfield would be built for Detroit. I have no doubt. He's got the grit, determination. Maybe we will, maybe we won't, but certainly wouldn't be the worst thing, maybe. If we had a chipmunk, we'd be doing better. No, we wouldn't. Don't be silly. Goff with time is killer, no time. Yeah, we see him for the first time in his regime today, where he's in his tenure here, where he's not getting as much time in the pocket, but he made some very good throws today as well. He's still doing well in good circumstances. He's what 1, 2, 3 touchdown throws today, something like that. He's still doing better than a lot of quarterbacks in this league, even under an immense amount of pressure. So it wasn't on Goff today. Last week I was a bit annoyed with him, but this week I'm not too. So it's just that 4th down conversion was really, really got at me. Terry Perry goes, Anthony, do you think Ragnow can help us? Yes, of course Ragnow can help us. Sorry, I went quiet there. Yeah, I do think of course Ragnow can help. What Ragnow will help with most is communication on the line. There are way too many busted coverages on the offensive line right now, or missed assignments, not busted coverages. There's way too many missed assignments. It's like they're not quite sure what they're doing and what their assignment is on the play. Having Ragnow in there will help, because Frank Ragnow is a field general. He has everybody ready before the play. He can detect all the late blitzers, any shifts in the defense, any little look the defense give which he can pick up, he will pick up on, and he will have that line at least ready with its assignment. So you should see a lot more cohesion when Ragnow comes back, as a bare minimum. So I'm hoping that that's the case, and we get to see Frank. Like just for that alone, things are going to be so much better. The communication aspect of it will do well. PFF don't watch the game. No, they don't. So, yeah, I'm not taking anything away from PFF in regards to our defensive performance today. If they say something was positive, we know they're lying. Goff has been up and down all season. The O-line problems, bad play calling. Yes, having 2 play callers hasn't helped him either. There are some bits on him. This is Jared's worst season outside of the first season he had here. Obviously, the first season he was on a hide into nothing. That was the worst season he's had here. But this is the second worst season he's had since then. Every year beforehand he's been better than this. Even though the stats will paint a picture saying it's maybe not his second worst year, I've seen it, Matt's seen it, a lot of people have seen it. He's just not at where he should be right now, and there's something not quite right, and it probably does come down to the line. Because the centre-quarterback relationship is important in football. Losing the centre who's been here since the day you got here is a big adjustment. You saw the first play of this game, Colon with a dodgy snap tripping him over. It just doesn't give your quarterback a lot of confidence when you don't have that. So, yeah, that is where that is at. I think I've just about caught up with the comments now. I know a lot of you will be wanting to go and spend Thanksgiving there. So we'll do another 5 or 10 minutes and then I'll let you get out of here and you go spend Thanksgiving with the family and all whatnot. Anything else people want to mention about today? Obviously, this has kind of just been a little outburst at the end of a game rather than anything cohesive and detailed. I like to think we've got through a lot of it. The play calling's been suspect, the refs have been suspect, the line's been dodgy. Anything else? Defensive line. What else bothered me in this one? I don't know. I'm going to have to go and listen to these. I'm going to have to listen to DC's post-game presser and see what he said. But I think the overall thing from this game has shown that if there was no doubt in your mind about this team and its ability to get to the playoffs, there now should be doubt. This is the game that has shown you where we're at. We've just had the Packers kick our ass at home. They kicked our ass at Lambeau. And a lot of people don't rate this Green Bay Packers team. Even on this podcast, Green Bay have had a lot of scorn put on them this year. And the fact that they've just done the double over us and we're saying they're not a very good team, what does that say about us? It says that our credentials as a playoff team is in jeopardy this year. And then I don't know how it works next year. If you weren't to make the playoffs this year, I don't know where the expectations then go. It's you've got to make a deep playoff run next year. If you don't get to the playoffs this year, you've got to make a deep playoff run next year. Otherwise, your whole philosophy starts getting called into question. Again, the overall thing is I just don't know if this team has the chops to act like a contender. It plays like a world beater when it's an underdog and its back's against the wall, but they are struggling with being a contender and teams giving them their best shot. I have no doubt today Green Bay gave us their best shot. The way they played, everything they threw at us, they gave us everything they had and we couldn't cope with it. And contending teams should be able to cope with the best shots of teams like the Packers, because the Packers are not going to the Super Bowl. The Packers are not going to the NFC Championship game. They are not that caliber an opponent. They are a playoff team at best, and we've let them beat us twice. So I think the real concern just lies with this mentality difference between them. It's tough to watch. I wonder how well Love would have played today if he'd had the protection that Goff did. Yeah, you swap them two quarterbacks around. I mean, to be honest, Love can make his own time with his legs. I think Love probably would have fared better than Goff would in... I think Goff might not have done as well in Green Bay's protection. But Love would certainly have done better in our protection because he's got legs to run and extend plays, which is big for him. We just do not have that. A centre he alone sees over the line pre-snap. QB can say, hey, Taylor, you have 3 rushes, thanks. Yeah, again, that's what Frank brings. He brings an expert opinion to the centre position, and he does the job right. That's why I do not want Tate Ratledge to play centre in the NFL. I've gone over this point so many times when PFF graded their centres for this year in the NFL. And I don't always use them, but the top 16 ranked centres they've got in the NFL, one of them never played centre in college. 15 of them did. There's a reason why people just don't convert to being a centre. It's a much different position from guard. It is a much more difficult position than guard because of all that goes on up here. I want Tate Ratledge to be a mauling run blocker. I want him and Penny to end lives for the next 10 years. I don't want to take all that aggression and put it into the centre spot because it's not suited for it. And people will say, yes, it is, etc. But I like a college centre-back who's played 3,000 snaps at centre and has got it down to a T. And he knows the job because you need a specialist. All the best teams in the NFL have a specialist centre for their quarterback to make them better. It's just a way of life. So, that is what Frank will bring to us, and that's why the next guy who comes up after him, whenever it may be, has to have played plenty of centre. That's just how I look at it. No worries thanks Anthony for streaming. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you joining me. I know again it's Thanksgiving. You're all probably got better things to do. Obviously, I kind of wish I'd done the game stream now, but we've just done us a little before and after. Because all these thoughts now, obviously, when the stream's done, leave your thoughts in the comments below the page, and then all the comments I get from today, I'll make sure I'll put in the show when we do the actual review, because I want to get your guys' feedback in there as well. It's good us talking about it, but I always appreciate the feedback of the people who listen to us as well, which is why I go through all your comments. I want to make sure you're heard, so comment on the video as well. The more comments that go in there, the more issues we can talk about when the game review comes around. Brent goes, not worried but concerned. We started a left guard 2, centre 3, and a wounded rookie right guard. Yeah, we're down the depth chart and we're suffering. What do you think are Campbell and Holmes' weaknesses or things they need to work on? I've explained the thing with Holmes. Holmes now needs to shift his mindset from being 100% draft orientated to a bit more free agency orientated, so that we can. You've got to make your team better at the draft and in free agency at the deadline, like some of the good contenders do. I think he just needs to, because he's kind of laser focused in on just building through the draft and doing it that way. I think he just needs to expand his eyesight a little more and just allow a little bit else in, just to supplement the great job he's doing. He's doing a wonderful job. I just think he needs to supplement a bit more through the outside, and they need to be a bit more forgiving about that. Also, the loyalty to injured players. I get you want to be loyal to your players and you want to have a reputation for being incredibly loyal to your players, even when they're at their worst, when they've been hurt, which is not a nice time for them. But you have a team and you need to win a Super Bowl, and you've got to start getting a little bit more brutal with some of your roster cuts in regards to injured players and showing loyalty to players who haven't necessarily earned it. That's where Brad needs to improve. For Dan, you've got to find yourself an offensive play caller. That's what you've got to do there. And if you're going to be calling plays, he's lost his... I don't know. I'm going to have to think about what to do with Dan in terms of how he could get better. I just think he works better not being the play caller and just sort of generaling the game. Instead of being a commander on the field, he's the general overseeing it all. That's where he's best. Put him back where he's best. But we need to find a specific play caller he can trust, and he doesn't have that right now. What would Jesus do? He would work a miracle of hedge of protection from $1 million. Yeah, absolutely. It's we couldn't get a Christmas miracle here at this point. Hopefully we do win on Christmas Day, though. Thanks for doing the vent stream. Hey, no worries. Again, sometimes it's good to get... I mean, we started doing the reviews for the games days after the games, so we could let the perspective settle down and let all the hot take stuff get out of the system. But I think sometimes it's good to get the like a lot today. I've read a lot today from you guys and I can take that on board now. I think it's good to get people's raw emotions after a loss as well. So maybe I might do this a bit more in future. Obviously the guys do the game stream, so you can do it after that, but I think everyone sort of having their own perspective and then coming in here and letting it out is a positive thing, so we'll see going forward with it. Ragnar can be captain of the special teams blocking. Actually, I didn't notice special teams today. I think special teams was better. That's a positive as well. They've certainly not been as bad as they've been in recent weeks, but we've got Rodrigo back, Dorsey back. That seems to have settled special teams down a little bit. And obviously punting, kicking and all that was nothing major with that today. Giovanni goes, the season is cooked. We have to win out. Thanks for the stream. Again, I appreciate the point of view and I do get it. Been 2 games behind with 5 to go and you've got to play the Rams. I can understand the theory that you think the season is done, and don't get me wrong, this season is tough. For me, I've still got, I'd say about 40% hope we can do it. I'm under half now because the trenches are just not working, but I know if this team does put it together, it can still win. But I understand if people are now very worried about the season ending prematurely. I completely can understand that point of view. I'm heading in that direction myself, and anything other than a win at the Cowboys and that will be gone. Jahmyr Gibbs, 23 years old. He's young. He will keep getting better. Would you hire Dabo, the fired New York Giants head coach? Potentially. The only trouble is they're former head coaches. It creates an odd power dynamic. We've done best with Ben Johnson, who was a assistant coach when Dan came here. I don't want a former head coach doing it. Like Kelvin is, like, we've not had these guys before. We've not had a former head coach on staff. And we seem to have done well with that. I'm just not a fan of it. I think it can create a weird power dynamic. And I don't want that to happen. So maybe not Daboll. Tanner would have been perfect. I think we should have moved Day and Earth to have Tanner do it instead, but obviously he's at New York now, so maybe we can get our hands on him again in a couple of years. Said this was a tough season at the start of the season. Yeah, agreed. I thought it would be tougher this year as well again. the ultimate thing is this team is making a transition from being an underdog to a contender. This is the last mental block we've got to hurdle. That was the big concern I had this year. Again, goes back to the Washington game last year. Washington were like us. They were the disrespected underdog, and we were the favourite for a change, and we just flaked away. Now, one game, it could be understandable. You're not in that position often, but this year was going to be difficult because it's about changing the mentality. And they've not changed that mentality so well. They've not acted like championship contenders this year in the way they've played and in the mistakes they're making. That's how this year's tough, and I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. They're struggling with changing their mindset. I could be just talking out my arse, but again, I just say what I see and I see what I say. So yeah, but it was always going to be every season's going to be tough. We can't blame injuries. Last year injuries happened. This year's injuries are going to happen every single year. Eventually you've got to make it to the Super Bowl in spite of injuries. Like everyone says, you've got to win games in spite of refs. You've got to get to the Super Bowl in spite of injuries. It's what the special teams do. And we've got to find a way just to get past the injuries and be able to get to where we want to go. But this year it's looking like it might be a bit too much. But next year you've no excuse. You've got a lot of injury-prone players on this roster who you can get rid of, who you can replace with healthier guys. You can have a full off-season, get in a lot of your core players fully healthy, get whatever treatments they need or something, but you've got to prepare better with your depth. You've got to prepare better with your depth. Really, season is over. LeMayo, a lot of football left. I can see both sides, Brent. I don't want to mock on people who are saying the season. I don't believe the season is over. I don't. But again, I understand where people are coming from. Just always statistically, until you're out, and the mathematics don't math anymore. Of course, there's a chance. But you are now 5 games to go, and you have to win 2 games just to catch up. Now, if the teams you're chasing win 2 games, then you've got 3 games left. And you've still got 2 games to catch up on. You see what I mean? It's hard to overcome a 2-game deficit with 5 games left, especially when you're on the road to the Rams. So I can understand why people have legitimate concerns that the season might be over, because mathematically it is getting very tough for us to guarantee that we're going to get there. So I can see both sides of the argument. Obviously, the statistical-minded people see that there's still a big chance we can get to the playoffs. That's fine. Other people can see that, looking at it from a whole viewpoint, it's going to be very tough. So I respect both sides of the argument. I'm still on the side that we can get there, but I can see the other side as well. Also, what am I drinking, and what is the name of that soda in the UK, sweeter than Mountain Dew? I'm drinking ginger beer. This is Bundaberg. It's Australian. It's not alcohol. It's just, I don't know if you guys have ginger beer there. It's ginger extract. It's absolutely beautiful stuff. This is my game day drink. So I don't drink as much alcohol anymore, but it's spicy. It's really nice for winter. This is like my winter drink. Ginger at winter is very nice. It warms the inside of you. So I love ginger beer at this time of year. I will drink a lot of it. But I will have a beer occasionally as well. We get Sunday off. Yes, that's a good thing. We get to go till next Thursday when we have a 1 a.m. start again. It's just about to turn 11 o'clock here, so it's still in the evening per se. It's not 4 o'clock in the morning, otherwise I wouldn't be doing this at this time. Next game at Dallas is must win, yes. There is no ifs, ands or buts. If anybody tells you this game is not must win against Dallas, they're lying. Purely and simply, it is. Again, statistically, it might not be the end of the year if it's must-win, but it is. We've all seen it today. It is a must-win game because you've got to play the Rams and you've got to travel on the road to Minnesota and Chicago. And history would tell you they're going to lose one of those, at least, possibly 2. So you cannot lose this Dallas game at home, period. And plus, you can't lose the Dallas game because Dallas are in the running with you for the playoffs, so you're going to give them a bump up in the playoffs. You'll give Dallas the tiebreaker over you in the playoffs. You cannot afford for that to happen, so there are a multitude of reasons we cannot afford to lose that game. They're beating the Chiefs right now. They've just beat the Eagles. They're beating the Chiefs at half-time. They are not going to be an easy opponent, and they are not going to lie down at Ford Field for us like they did at AT&T last year. So it is absolutely a must-win game. St. Brown injury is unfortunate. It is. I just pray to God it's not something serious, but the fact he didn't even try to come back in the game is worrying. It's just not good at all. We have root beer and sarsaparilla. What's sarsaparilla? That sounds right nice. I feel like, well, for anyone in the chat, what is sarsaparilla? I don't know what that is. We have ginger beer and ginger ale. Always have ginger beer. Ginger beer is proper ginger extract. Ginger ale is just... ginger beer is proper root ginger. Ginger ale is just extract of ginger and it's not proper. Ginger beer is the real stuff. But I love the name sarsaparilla. Right. Anyone got any other questions or comments they want to get in here? Because I will get out of here shortly. We've been on about an hour or so after the game. We've got quite a lot in here. A bit of a therapy session per se. Obviously, it's been a very disappointing day for us all. We don't like to lose to the Packers. We don't like to see the Lions lose. We don't like to accept the possibility that this season might not be what we thought it was going to be. But I feel a little bit better having talked it out a bit. And in the morning, maybe I'll feel a bit better again. But yeah, it has not been a nice one. Appreciate you, Giovanni Lyons, saying thank you. Appreciate again, I know I say it all the time, but we really do appreciate everybody who joins us on the channel. You know, the fact that you want to listen to us means a lot, and you know, we really appreciate that. Never thought we'd have done this when we started 5 years ago, so you know, every stream I do I enjoy immensely because you are all here with me. Have I missed anything? Frank makes Rams a W. Don't be so sure, Brent. That Rams team, and that's going to sting. That's when questions will be asked. If the Rams go on into a Super Bowl this year, the question will be asked, how did the Rams win a Super Bowl, basically blow their team up, and then rebuild their team and get back there before we did? It's the thing I want to happen least. I want the Rams to lose out every single game if possible. It's just, yeah. Oh, did Mahomes get hurt? They tried to throw a flag on him. Sarsaparilla was banned. Sorry. Oh. What was it banned for? Was it alcoholic? Was it non-alcoholic? I'm going to need to have a look at this. What is... This can be my little thing before I go. What is sarsaparilla? Oh... It is a root... Oh, it's like ginger beer then. Like, this is used root beers. Oh, it's similar to root beer. From Smilax plants. I've never had that. It's Jamaican. Might have to try. I love root beer, though. I love California root beer. I want to make... If any of you have a proper recipe for it, then send it me. But I do love the stuff I make here, but... I'm pretty sure it's not authentic, but I do love myself a California root beer. You guys can occasionally do some nice things over there. Right. I think we shall just about leave that for today. As I say, thank you to everyone who has joined in this little vent session after the game. Not what we wanted, but we move on. And we will be back next week, obviously, with the Cowboys game, and hopefully we do a lot better going forward. Hopefully, again, I hope all of you enjoy your Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful day. Hope everything goes well. And again, to all the people up in the north getting affected by these snowstorms, I hope that you are all safe and you are all staying inside, nice and warm from the horrors outside. I've been watching some of the storm chasers up there. My God, there's a lot of snow falling up there in no amount of time at all. Me, I'd love it. I'm a winter guy. I'd love all this snow, but I know it's obviously not nice when it comes down so quick. So I hope you're all doing well there. Thomas, in the end, says, Brad Holmes screwed this team. I mean, it's a conversation. Maybe we'll do that one day. We'll host a Brad Holmes forum one day, and we'll do the for and against stuff with it and get it out there. Brad has certainly not screwed this team, as in he's absolutely... It depends what you mean by screwed, but he's assembled one of the best rosters we've ever had. and he's put us in a position to make an assault at a Super Bowl. It's just trying to find out that little bit at the end to turn us from a very good team into a Super Bowl team. And it's not easy. Not many teams win the Super Bowl. Not many head coaches win the Super Bowl. Not many GMs win the Super Bowl. It's not easy at all. So I wouldn't say he's screwed us. I think some of his decisions, some of his bad decisions are coming back to haunt us right now. But, you know, people can adapt. People can change. You know, not addressing the edge 2 position is coming back to haunt us, but he's made a lot of good draft picks. You know, it's just, I know it's tough right now. We're all mad. We all wanted to win this. We all wanted this to be the year we got to the Super Bowl, and it might not be it. But he's certainly not screwed us. He's given us a good platform to work with. Brad's task now is just adapting to what he's not good at, and finding a different answer for it. And hopefully he finds the right method next time. But he's certainly not screwed us, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. Right, anywho, I'm going to get out of here. Have a fantastic day, all of you. We will be back for the review show. I'm not sure whether we're doing it Friday or Saturday. Hopefully I'll be on, but if not, Matt and Ash certainly will. And then we'll be back for the Cowboys game next week. We will reload, we will go again, and we will spend the week hating on the Cowboys, which is my second favourite thing to do after hating on the Bears. Oh, and the Packers, so number 3. But yeah, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care. One Pride.